I didn't want to be a slave of my own business. I've never met any business owner that started their own business to be working 80, 100 hours a week and give up their whole families and their whole lives just to run the business.
Gledsley is an entrepreneur and founder of the Digivate Group who has built companies that run completely without his daily presence, all while traveling across North America with his family. He's back to reveal how business owners can extract themselves from day-to-day operations, stop being the bottleneck, and reclaim their freedom.
Just having these SOPs and people in place to start doing these actions will start cutting down the hours that you have to be present in your business. One belief that I usually have to work with the business owners is letting go of control. If you really want to be the leader of your company, if you want to really lead the whole team and produce good service and good quality, your brain is more useful in the bigger strategies. I'm doing this for you because I want you to be able to experience this yourself. Here I am in the Pancake Bay Provincial Park, and I'll tell you something. It's been more than 20 days that I am on the road driving across Canada and then soon in the US with my family with a pickup truck and a trailer. So the trailer has been my office for the past 3, almost 4 weeks right now. And I still have like a month, almost a month and a half ahead. And why I'm saying that is not because I want to brag about being able to do that, but the point that I want to make right now is that I do have my own businesses, and what I did is that I put systems together that allowed me to keep running the companies without me being present all the time. And if you want to know more about this, I want to teach you a little bit about what to do so you are able to leave your agency behind and then take a decent vacation, not necessarily as long as 2 months and a half, but a decent vacation with your family and your loved ones once in a while, and your business will still survive in the end of the day. I'm not here to be a guru and say, oh, all you have to do is build passive income, blah, 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 blah. No, I'm here to explain some of the things that I do with the business owners that I work with and how I extract them from the day-to-day operations in a way that they are then able to start living their lives. Because I've never met any business owner that started their own business to be working there 80, 100 hours a week and give up their whole families and their whole lives just to run the business. I mean, I've met a lot of workaholics. I am one of them, but that doesn't mean that I want to give up all the rest of my life just to be, like working on client work all the time during weekends, during holidays and everything else. No, I want to live my life. I got my own businesses because I wanted to have an impact in a way that I couldn't be able to do it just as an employee. And I wanted also the freedom to work from wherever I wanted. And this is a clear case in here. But I didn't want to be a slave of my own business. And this is what I'm talking about today. And I had to give up even for this trip to happen. I didn't manage to find a decent way to do my podcast episodes. That's why I'm here today, just having this chat alone with you. And it is something that I kept planning, and I wanted to have even my podcast, my usual podcast episodes during this trip, but it's really hard. One of the things that I had to do, I had to get a Starlink to be able to have internet connection, a decent internet connection, for example, even to do this recording in here. But it's even with that, controlling the weather is not possible. Even the places we got to some parks, even this is one of them. I had to drive close to the beach in here with a car to connect the Starlink. because it's in the middle of the forest and there is not enough sky for the internet to work. So there is a lot of planning in there, but this is just for the trip. The the important planning that I had to do was with my businesses. What were the actions, the day-to-day actions that I had during the operations or even the execution of the products and the services that my companies they have that required my presence. And one thing that I started to do was to document them in what we call SOPs, standard operating procedures or processes, if you want. And in a way that if you give that document to someone else, that person will be able to perform at least 80% of the quality of what I produced. That's my goal, right? And then Martel says something that I really love. That he says like someone doing 80% of what you do is 100% awesome because you don't have to do it. Yeah, maybe the quality may not be the same quality that you have, but they are doing it, right? And maybe you can close the gap of the 20%, or you can train them to up that to 100%, or sometimes they can, if you hire the right person, they should do 200% of what you do, because if you hire the right person, they can do your job way better than you. That means that you hired the correct person for that job, right? But one belief that I usually have to work with the business owners is letting go of control. Because if you really want to be the leader of your company, if you want to really lead the whole team and produce good service and good quality product, your brain is more useful in the bigger strategies, or specifically on the thing that you really like to do. Maybe some people that really like to execute some bits, right? But then they have to let go, for example, of the accounting, or maybe the sales, of the marketing, or the whole operations, and just execute exactly what they want. So when I work with business owners, that's the thing that I try to do. So I need to figure out how they spend their time and figure out which are the low level actions that they perform during the week. And then we started to figure out, like, can we give this to someone else in the team that would perform the same action at least with 80% of the quality? Or can we hire someone to do that? Can we hire internally someone that is already part of the team? Or can we hire someone externally? And nowadays with AI, it's like the low level is just like, can we automate this? Can we create an agent that will perform that action, or an automation that will perform that action the way that you usually perform? And if you have the SOPs in place, it's pretty simple, right? But most of the time people don't have it. So just having these SOPs and people in place to start doing these actions will start cutting down the hours that you have to be present in your business, and you stop being the bottleneck or the person that holds everything together. Otherwise, if you get out, everything crumbles. One other thing that I help business owners realize is that they have to start protecting their time from unnecessary meetings. So I've seen over and over again, any kind of decision in a company, they need to have like massive meetings with everyone under the hood, like everyone under the company, to take one small decision, because they treat a business as a democratic country. And it doesn't necessarily need to be like that. It's really good when everyone is involved, but there are some decisions that you as a leader, you should take them, because none of your team members, they want to do that. Or none of them, they feel like it's their role, or it's in their pay grade to take that decision. And I recall this with a couple of team members in one of my companies, that they wanted to raise the prices of some services to up to a point. And I wanted to raise as well, but because I was training them, and this is important, like that's when I say that you should lose a bit of this control. You cannot be a control freak of your team. Like, you should hire people that they have the brains, and and they can do things on their own. And all you have to do is just steer them in the right direction. So you have to think through the lenses of in the future, like who you are actually hiring and how you're training them to be behaving like years ahead, right? You cannot solve any kind of problem that they come with. It's like you have to train them to think and to come up with their own solutions. So in that case, they wanted to raise the prices. And I said, like, we should raise. And one thing that I always teach my team members to do is more like, if you have a problem, you come with me with like 3 solutions and your favorite one, right? And they didn't do that. Like they just picked like one solution and that's it. And I said, like, it seems like really steep. So you're going to jump from here to here, like percentage wise is like a really big jump. And they just wanted a round number for that service. And then I said, look, okay, that's what you want. And then what happens is that they sent an email. I said, pick up the phone and talk to them separately. They no. We are gonna before you came here, we always sent emails with this. I'm like, okay, give it a try. So everything that I mentioned to them, they pushed back. And then what happens is that they sent an email to a small amount of clients that they want to do that. At least this was really cool, right? They sent the email to them, and then like out of like 5, 3 of them already kind of wanted to stop the services. They're like, no, this is too much. And then they're like, they started to panic and they came to me and said, oh, look, they all want to jump ship. And then I said, of course, because it was too much. And then I said, they're like, oh, but why didn't you tell us it was too much? I said, I did say that. And more than that, I said, don't send via email, give them a call so they can actually discuss this over a call. You didn't listen to me. And they're like, but what's going to happen? We're going to lose these clients. And I said, look, if we're going to lose them, we're going to lose them. What you're going to do about it, right? And then I said, the problem is that if we lose a lot of clients, you're going to have to start firing people. They're like, oh, but we do not want to be responsible for firing people, right? So then I said, look, these are the consequences of the freedom that I give it to you. It's like, I gave it to you so you can think as a business owner. And when you came to me, you only had one solution. And when I slightly mentioned that I didn't think it was a good idea because of the percentage of the raise, you didn't listen to me. And then I said, like, maybe you should give them a call. And then you were trying to protect yourselves with an email. And this is the consequence. And what happened? I said, what you're going to do about it? Did they just cancel? They're like, no, they didn't cancel. I said, pick up the phone and talk to them. And then maybe you should rethink about this number. So it's uncomfortable. When I tell this story to other business owners, they're like, oh no, I can't give this to my team members. They're going to mess up my whole business. And that's how they get locked in. And they are the decision makers of every single little thing. But pricing, for example, or raising prices is something that you could actually, I could have told them how much I wanted, but it's my way of leading that I tell my team to kind of figure out by themselves, right? And then, of course, it's just steering them into the right direction that I feel like currently, that I feel like is the right direction. But this is the way I roll. And this is the way that I usually, with the business owners that I work with, this is how I do it as well. And lately I've been working with a lot of agency owners, right? Digital marketing or creative agency owners. And there is something about the creative people that it's really hard, specifically with them, to handle the creativity and the quality of the work, because it was just like they are artisans of what they do. But in the end of the day, do they want to be the artisan or do they want to be these business owners? Because then they should hire an operator to take these decisions that they cannot take. And then they just do the execution of that creative part, right? So this is some of the things that I do with them. And then by showing that they can also, even in the execution of some of these things, they can handle that like to someone else. in a way that they come and close just the gap. What I said is like if someone does 80% of what they do, they close the gap to the 100% of what they judge would be the perfect output. So these are some of the things that I teach them how to do it. And with some of them, I choose to work with them forever. We become partners, and it's been really great because now we are becoming a bigger group of leaders that now we are seeing the same thing. And even like today, I had to call a couple of them out of the blue because suddenly I had internet. And then I said, we need to jump to one call right now because that was the moment where I needed to pick up their brains to do the things that are important for the companies that we are running. And it wasn't because a client was unsatisfied about something, because that my team is already doing. It's more about like what will be the strategy that we're going to do to acquire a new company or to acquire a new business or to acquire a new client. So these are the things that I am still kind of working. It's nothing super urgent. And I won't lie to you, it's not easy to travel and work, even though I planned a lot. But the fact is that there are enough processes in place that, for example, last week I couldn't work for 3 days because we were in a place that it was really hard to have a connection. I'm in the middle of Canada where sometimes we don't have 3G, we don't have 4G, 5G, right? And I had to rely on Starlink, and then because of the trees, I couldn't do that either. I couldn't work, right? And nothing broke any of the companies. My team was in there. The other business owners, they were in there as well. My business partners, they were in there to take the decisions that were needed. But this is what I am experiencing. And let me see if I can show you. But over there is the beach. So there, that's why I'm doing that with my family, who's currently running around while I'm here recording this for you. I'm doing this for you because I want you to be able to experience this yourself. It's pretty awesome. My kids they are enjoying a lot, my wife as well. So it's an experience that I really want any business owner to be able to do it. And I'm really happy that I can do that. So I'm not really, I'm here just to be an example to you and show you the things that I've done that worked and allowed me to achieve this. So if you want to know a bit more how it is to work with me, I'm going to leave you a link in the description and then we can have a chat.